There's no sound. I just was about to. Checked it myself. There's no sound.
Oh, I hate when this happens.
I was like, I deafened myself in the Discord so I could see,
Oh
but
shit.
We're having great times. I need to check my levels every time.
Oh no, and I had my
30
I thought I
minute
had it on mute.
30 minutes of us just going.
Oh
No
shit.
problem, Andy. Hey, let me get just okay. So for those of you who've been watching, this
Andy.
us
Andy.
talking to the void, we have role played quite a bit. We've categorized a lot of things. Jesus, fuck.
Don't beat yourself up. Just keep rolling with
Yeah.
it.
So I just got to synopsize the last 30 minutes real quick because a lot's happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the group is in Penford. The group has decided to accumulate what they have available to them. They're taking Nyx's skyship because Nyx has returned back to his hive. So Andy's watching. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned Nyx first off. That's the most important thing. And then,
Funniest guy in the land.
yep, he's pun master. And then they also have the ship coming in tomorrow, the Crimson Drake. They also have the money from the bounty. They know that Castia and Vravik are currently being hunted. They are trying to meet with the council to finalize a quest from uh, session 38 or back in the casino situation.
Apple
For
eaters.
yeah, and then they hope to get some boon or benefit from that. If not from the council, then from the literal fucking dragon, who said that if they were to do this, that they would be most grateful. So yeah, that's 30 minutes in summation. So the council, Dekellis would state that two of the five members remain. So it's Charlotte, and it is um, who is the other one? Me love me notes.
I'll be right back.
I'll be right here. Um, maybe. Who knows?
I believe in you.
Maybe my stuff will go mute again, and I'll just
No.
be talking to nothing. Ah! Okay, I'm over it. I'm not beating myself up. I swear Z's.
Yeah, we were
Yeah, you
here.
all heard it. That's the important part. That's really what matters.
Keep beating yourself up, I'll come beat you up.
That's fair. I deserve probably. Let's see. So notes, got it. Nope, wrong one. Don't name files like other files. Try and name them different shit.
Like 1 and 2 and 3.
Don't start with me.
Four.
That's not appropriate. That's not
like-
appropriate for you to be saying words that make me cry internally.
Council number
Anytime you need a file, just
78.
save it to desktop, then move it later.
Why would you want me to cry on my insides and also on my outsides? Why
I like to be thorough.
I like to be thorough. Cover all your bases.
I want it all. I want all of it crying.
No.
Well, thank you, but also fuck you. So, right, it would be Charlotte, and it would be is it Renendal. So, the Dark Wolf.
you made that up. What was that name?
Renendal. I'm copying. I'm copying and I'm posting. So there's no way. You didn't see me type. I have my hands basically up. There's no way I made that up. Don't even start. So Renendal and Charlotte. So the Dark Wolf is absent. The Dark Wolf is a member of the conglomerate who you would be familiar with, Sanat. A blue gnome who is of the long and historically great Kurgosler family line of principalities. And the Dark Wolf is probably joining the war effort alongside the War Mage here, Ruben. And then the other 2 members have retreated to Old Heisrick because they are not war capable individuals, and their names are not terribly important, but if you want me to find them, I can. The important people are Charlotte Velodius, who has been mentioned, and Runendal, the inventor. These are the 2 who have remained in Penford despite the conflict.
Okay. The conflict with the Denizatman? Or
Correct.
yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Dang. Alright.
Look at his little face. Look at his scritches.
He's evil.
And
Ham.
do
Don't roll over
you,
on the keyboard.
Elizabeth, do you have anything on how to summon Goldbelly?
I said that it is a striped staff, and when ready to leave, we raise it and speak Goldbelly,
Correct.
Agerhorn.
Got you. Okay.
Yep.
So, Sanat, you would obviously be the one who is leading whoever is going into this meeting.
Oh boy.
DeKellis will be leading you, and then the 2 of you will basically be acting as the liaisons for the Magical Magistrate and Watch to the group. So if anything goes out of hand here, your expectation, and you'd be made aware of it, is that you are to defend the council members above all else, because they are servants of the dynast, the rulership of Jernars as a whole.
Does Sinat know in character what we plan to do?
Do you tell Sanat what you plan to do?
Yes.
And sorry, Charlotte's last name I actually fucked up. Andule. Wrong one. One of the other nobles is the last name I gave you. And
Andule?
there we go. Got her.
Oh, I spelled it completely wrong. Jesus.
And then Alfgar Kurgazler, who is not here.
Wasn't that? No.
He looks fun.
The
Wasn't
flying gnome guy? No, that one was green and a goblin.
Okay.
Yeah, you
They're-
racist.
Very different. They weren't color swapped. That wasn't the case.
Yeah. One's not a shiny.
How dare you?
Okay.
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 What do we wanting to talk to them about?
The squinty eyes. Ah, belly. Sorry.
So Goldbelly never gave us the details, but he just wanted to speak to the council.
Wait,
but
so
he
you're wanting
emphasized-
Like we're gonna roll up in there and be like,
we're
"Hey,
wanting to summon a dragon.
in the council
Hey,
chamber."
Cousins,
He
we're
the
warning, it's
Belly.
gonna surprise you, but yeah.
he emphasized that he didn't mean any harm.
I'm like, you remember when I showed up and we joked about rolling for initiative? No, just
He wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Goldbelly emphasized he meant no harm to the capital or its people.
That's cool.
It's also why John evened the playing field and gave you
Aw,
guys
that's-
experience to catch up to me.
Oh yeah, you would have
What if-
board wiped us.
What if these cats met?
Wow.
Oh.
Look, it's
Oh
a
my
cat.
goodness.
He cannot see. He,
Oh, the Pete's.
Okay.
Those little toe beans.
Little Toby.
Playdate is over. So, you've explained to Sanat, right? Is there anything else that you wanted to explain to Sanat regarding the exchange? The plant exchange?
There was Goldbelly,
Um,
the red apple.
How do you go about this? Oh, well, I'm representing a dragon, and he like wants to talk to you.
He owns a casino. He's pretty
He owns a
cool.
casino. He's a real cool
Oh.
guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna have to explain that
Go
to
off all
them
my chips for 'em.
before we summon the dragon, please.
That's likely a good idea.
No, no,
My character's
no.
not that smart, but I
Uh,
kind of agree.
I don't
Give
think
me
if
the
we.
staff. I will go on top of the castle and summon the dragon.
I was like, if the two of them plus the what I can't remember his name now.
Jealous.
The guy leading us there.
I'm gonna
Lead
go ahead.
us-
I'm gonna go ahead and type it in the chat.
It's your username, dude.
My
I-
brain
I want you to go ahead
is
and
not
just.
working.
I want you to go ahead and just take like a sticky note, write that one down, because that one's going to be very important for your character moving forward, forever and ever. And
Forever
I don't want this to be
Yeah.
a Ruben situation.
Hey, at least I remember Ruben. Okay,
Right,
so
thank you. I appreciate that. This one is a little harder. This is the next level stuff.
Sometimes you can just like hover over John's name on Discord though,
Yeah.
and just be like, "Oh, look,
I am him and he is me.
yeah."
And this is a bean.
Oh wait, no, it's Dugan on here. There
Oh,
was
it is
one that
Dugan.
was, yeah.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Like click on him, and it's his link tree says slash.
Yeah, Linktree is that close. Yeah.
Whoa, dude.
Wow.
Just gonna throw that around. You can just do that? You think you can just do that? Okay, we're having some
You-
times.
He's clearly just doing that.
Yeah.
He's vibing.
I also had to remind you who. What was it? Alzar.
Yeah,
was-
that's fair. So yeah, no, you're good at this.
I
I'm not saying
remember
you're not.
people. My brain is just not working today.
I apologize for coming at you. I did not mean for it to be.
Don't fight me, sir.
I will not. I will not, unless a worm is involved. Okay. So, who is going to the meeting? And that's really up to your group.
Probably.
Lose, you said.
Yeah. I would
Makes sense.
assume Orlandis might.
Should those with the bounty, not go? Or can we all safely make this trip?
I think it would be fine.
I think they should at least be nearby.
So I'm going to remind you again. The council serves at the pleasure of the dynast, who is the ruler of Jernaris.
Oh, and the bounty was made by the kingdom.
Oh,
Yeah.
By the dynast
Dynast.
himself.
yeah.
I'm like,
So
Oh.
maybe keep Castia away.
so maybe me and
Mm.
Cassia should hang out
Yeah.
close, but not real close.
You, Sarth, and Castia on a nice little family trip. Just
Yeah.
around.
Oh, wait,
Hmm.
there are two bounties from two different organizations?
So there's
Yeah.
not a bounty on Vravik. This is not there's no monetary gain for
You just
Yeah.
have
Vravik.
to kill
They
over there.
just want
It's
to.
just
This is the killer
glory.
from
It's
the
a
kingdom.
KOS is the best way to kind of
Jesus
describe
Christ.
it. It's called a hand of God. It means that a blade wants Vravik's head, and what a blade wants, a blade gets.
Okay. And then the dynast has a bounty
Yes,
on Cassia.
for a paltry amount. I think it was 10,000.
Yeah. It wasn't even it was very.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is 10,000.
Jesus. Okay. Okay. Goodness gracious. I gotta write this down.
And why the fuck do they want her?
These have served as very interesting questions since I introduced the concept.
Yep.
We shall see.
Dun dun dun. Maybe we'll find out in this council meeting.
Okay, so everyone besides Castia, Blothild, and Sarth. Is that fair? And we'll say Astrogoth will remain with them as well, just because we're having NPC shenanigans there. Okay.
Can we say that Astrogoth is just out partying and just causing a
Yeah,
right ruckus?
that's more than fair. Let's say he's having a good time instead of babysitting.
Having a great time.
Right.
Yeah.
We prefer that for our
He's-
absolutely fabulous king.
He's duding at the bar, earning
There's-
tips that only he gets to use.
Dudes and
He got
Party.
into 3 bar fights.
at least 3 bar fights. Okay, so You are met by Sanat and Dekelis at the gates of Penford's most glorious of buildings, a very massive establishment on the coastal side of the very massive city of Penford. It sits high up on a rock, like a cliff, and parts of it are actually built underneath the cliff. There are towers and spires that descend from the cliff towards the sea, as well as a number of spires that raise up from it as well. A very defensible position, to be certain, and so when you are led into it, you are checked and double checked by court mages as well as court watch. With that being said, does anyone bring in anything? Does anybody bring anything that wouldn't be considered just standard weaponry?
Are my weapons considered standard?
Magical weapons are magical weapons. I mean, like things that would be considered illegal or illicit.
Oh, nah.
Ninja tools.
What?
Fire gun?
Ninja tools.
Yeah,
Ninja
I do.
tools.
I need to stop drinking so much Mountain Dew right before I start this game.
Mhm.
I
gotta-
was like, hold on. What is that?
I gotta pee real quick. I'm so sorry.
I got a gun.
That would be illegal, actually. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why I was
Oh,
saying
okay.
fire gun, because I figured that
Pew
was
pew.
illegal technology.
Fire gun.
That makes sense. That makes
Fucking
sense.
3D printed weapon.
You wouldn't
Ghost gun.
3D print a weapon.
Why are my ninja tools illegal? Like,
Because
you bring a sword
ninjary
in, I
is
can't have a
illegal.
shuriken?
Looks
Because
at you
they
in
know-
wizard.
Blast you with
I'm like-
magic from 50 feet away.
I'm like, looks at you in wizard like, you need tools.
exactly.
Okay.
Teleport.
Okay, spell component.
You know what? I don't want to be part of this. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go sneak into the castle my own way. I'll get in my own way.
He looks at all of you, a normal man. You have magic and tools?
I got armor. Shield. That's so good.
I didn't stick a gem into my arm.
Rude.
Hey,
Or
he
sorry,
he only got
I
to
didn't
use
stick a
those
gem into my
cantrips once,
arm.
too. That's so sucked. He only got to
Rude.
use his cantrips in one fight. Before he's like, okay, this thing is killing me. Get it out.
That's so
Help.
depressing.
It's like Eldritch Blast. Oh shit, that was cool
Roasted.
as fuck. Ah, it hurts.
I
Ah,
miss that
I feel like
gem.
I'm missing very important information.
yeah. Guess what I did? I broke an X-Acto blade.
Oh no.
Mhm.
No.
I
New
don't
power.
know.
How did you bend it?
Oh, because it was a cheap one.
She was angry.
No,
the-
I just have very strong hands apparently.
The short version is that Orlandus found a artifact that turned out to be cursed, but let him cast every cantrip, and then he tried to get rid of it because it was causing him problems, and it embedded in his arm and got worse.
And worse.
Not,
And worse.
not in his
it-
arm. It drilled through his palm into his
Yeah.
wrist.
Yeah, like through, like inside of his arm.
Like,
And
from there?
no,
No,
Castor
no,
performed
no.
surgery.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
about to say, did we
I
get
have.
it?
I still have it. Hey, we have that. We still have that as an asset. I still have it in the box.
Well, that's true.
Why the fuck do you have that thing?
Because I took it.
Just in case.
I held the box at the time. I was like, we might need it.
Dumb ass Jim in box.
Whoever played a video game of any sort with Tyler knows that we might need this later.
I wrote it down on our assets, by the
Hey, when
way.
we fight this worm, I won't be able to do damage. I'll be like, you know what? Give me the fucking gem. The Eldritch Blast. I'll go to the fucking Fire Kingdom. I don't care.
Dear God. Take this tower to the Fire King.
We'll go get there. The
Oh
Sea
my
of
god.
Fire.
Almost Baja blasted my underpants. But from the front, obviously.
Oh,
This
wow.
time, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
That wasn't that long. I was like gone for a couple seconds. Okay, so anything else that you folks wanted to focus on as being not legal?
It's
A
just
dumb
gun,
Jim in a
right?
box.
Okay. So they would definitely focus on these things that I kind of would kind of note: the guns, the ninja tools, like concealed ninja tools, and the thing you're trying to bring into the council chamber itself.
Oh, the dragon?
The stick, yeah.
It's just a little
Oh.
dragon.
What if we summon the dragon outside first?
That's not what the dragon wanted.
Yeah, he wanted to be in there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wanted to be all the way inside.
But we'll like bring him in.
So the court mages are kind of looking to it. Dekellis will kind of look to Sanat and step forward, kind of brusking his black robe open and looking to the group, then looking to the court mage. You have it on my authority and my position as Archmagier of the city of Penford that I will allow this Dweomer item to enter into the space, and it will not harm the council in any way, shape, or form. As they kind of acknowledge this, Kellis kind of gestures for you to move past, and as you walk into the hall to the next kind of position, DeKellis will kind of move past Sanat towards Orlandis, kind of walk alongside him and say, "It's interesting that your associate did not join you in this endeavor. The member of the agitators, the cleric. Where is she?"
She is just having a family day.
Any reason why she wouldn't be brought to court?
It is not her forte. We prefer her to live a simple life.
She likes to slay dragons.
She likes to slay a boss. She likes to. He'll kind of nod, and as you enter into the very large open space of the council chambers, you see that there are 5 very ornate-looking chairs, kind of on a dais in front of you. A number of audience positions around this very empty hall, but there are some people who are sitting in attendance. A couple of court denizens and some court recorders. A few courtiers enter into the space and prepare the thrones that will be utilized. DeKellis kind of falls back away from your group, letting Sanat take the lead, so to speak, on this engagement. And as you kind of move into the space, you who are familiar with court politics will see the pretty standard setup. 5 seats, or the ruling group, positioned on higher kind of authority, but at their feet, a distance away from them, a perfect square of white sand, manicured perfectly smooth in a 10 by 10 grid. You would note that this is utilized in pretty much every country that has kind of Aetan traditions as its background. It has a spell of Zone of Truth cast on it permanently, and anyone who is being accused is required to step into the space to speak. If a ruling body demands such a show of truth, and it is not granted, this could be considered a breach of etiquette. Whether or not that'll pop up or not today, we'll see. But as you stand there and wait near, but not in that square, 2 individuals come out. I showed you the picture for Charlotte. She is a redheaded woman with very pale skin, long red nails, almost claw-like. She's wearing very ornate, very form-fitting, and very regal-looking attire. A hood or veil kind of over her head. And she moves to sit at her seat. In walks as well a older gentleman, much older, Jernarin as well, by presumption, wearing spectacles, a worker's apron. He does not look like he's dressed for court whatsoever. And his white and gray hair is just a mess with soot and the like. And he moves to sit. It seems Charlotte sits in the center of the 5 seats, whereas the artificer sits on the leftmost seat. Once they have sat, the herald or barker of the court slams a large iron ball against a bronze surface, indenting it, but leading to kind of a thud, a dull clang, which echoes throughout the chamber. And then, in perfect Jernarin speech, says words aloud to the effect of announcing the 2 at seat, the council members, discounting the individuals who are not present, and then announcing the names that you would have granted the herald to announce yourself upon entry. So whatever you would have been, whatever your identification would have been in that kind of lead-up process. Upon completion, Charlotte will say, "Your meeting is very irregular. Your request for audience is concerning. We understand that you are a group of rebels from currently controlled Denisotvan territories. That is troubling, to be sure, but since the siege by the riders has been broken, we are now a bit more free to receive refugees such as yourself. And you arrive by water. Are you members of the privateers that have been causing issues for the Denisotvan forces at sea?"
I mean, we could be, if that's a good thing.
But currently, they are assisting me in the endeavor of recaging the beast that was inadvertently released by my previous group of comrades.
Of course. The old gentleman kind of shakes his head. And kind of lets like a loud but kind of annoyed sounding grunt. Charlotte says, "Fair. So, we are made aware of a number of individuals who are a part of your company. We are a bit annoyed that one specific individual is not among your number, but we do not feel it is in our best interests to force the issue.
She wasn't really feeling well today, so
You have requests of us. Make them. If we find it necessary to request something of you in recompense, then we shall."
It appears
is it
that-
alright if we call someone in?
Yeah.
DeCalis kind of looks to Charlotte as she kind of looks to him confused, and he kind of gives a... And at that moment, Orlandus, you hear a voice in your head, DeCalis' voice. "This favor I grant you. You do something very untoward here. Understand that I expect favor in kind."
I will oblige.
"You may proceed," Charlotte says.
We taken out that staff and we raise it and speak. Goldbelly, Igarhorn, Huron.
Yep, a massive red dragon bursts into the scene. Strangely enough, the jangle of coins smashing against the ground is also heard as the dragon is pulled from the bottom of a beached massive boat that's serving as a gambling house, where you last left her. And was it? No,
I think it was.
You're a girl dragon.
he.
Oh!
No,
I thought it was a he.
the rival was a girl.
I mean, we're fine with either or neither.
Right.
but you know,
No, it was a he. Consistency is key. That's the important part. So checking my notes there. He would state in Draconic. Does anybody here speak that?
Ooh, that's a good question.
ooh, I do.
I do.
Okay.
I
do
do.
not.
Hey, elves.
So
Yay.
he states that in the beginning, the thrust of his statement in Draconic, looking back to your group, is that I wish to address the council directly. If any wish to interject, do so now. If you interrupt me while I am speaking, I sit by old Denisatvan right that I have the permission to murder you outright.
Jesus.
But okay.
Very
Can I kill somebody
spicy
for
person.
interrupting me?
I'm like,
Alright.
spicy for somebody getting a favor to talk to the council, but okay.
Well, yeah, again, it's a bit
Yeah.
it's a bit
I mean-
troubling to be sure. The
Yeah.
statement of
I
this
mean, we got
dragon.
here, but go for it.
You see Charlotte just like unconcerned, kind of wave her hand, and you can see that DeKellis's hands go into the pockets of his robe when the dragon appears. Which, so not you've never seen DeKellis spellcast,
Uh-huh.
so this could be interesting. The dragon continues to speak in Draconic, directed at Charlotte and the other member of the council. A long list of grievances are put out onto the table regarding the denizens of Swordbreak and their efforts to kill members of the Draconic councils present inside of the mountains north of the Levidian plains, the Makoshi plains, and also of Anundia. The dragon continues to cite problems with the Aeonian riders and also problems with Denisatvan incursions as well, and old contracts between the ancient followers of Denisatvan control in this region prior to Jernaran Concordant demand that those who reign at current, even if they do not swear fealty to the current dynast, which is technically true of the city-state, do everything within their power by contract to assist the dragons in the mountains, or face their wrath as they seek a place to hide from those who hunt them. Charlotte
So he's wanting, just sorry for me, in
Sanctuary.
my notes, sanctuary and assistance to help the dragons.
yeah, because everybody's currently hunting dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Denisatvans who technically worship them.
Okay.
She asks if she has permission to speak after a long pause is held. A draconic pause, which is about a minute. He replies in kind. You have permission to reply. And she asks, what proof do you have that this matter is currently being engaged in? He then begins to cast a spell. You watch as DeKellis' hands pop out and kind of just flex as he kind of looks at it, and then he kind of stops. Like it's a very fast gesture, right? Like it's split second. Like you're pretty sure he was ready to counterspell whatever was happening, but he doesn't.
He was there with a quick draw.
As he seems to identify whatever's being cast. You watch as Charlotte's eyes kind of roll into the back of her head, and so do the artificers, and then they kind of snap back to normal. The old man says, "Aha, I see. The Aeonian riders have taken one of your ilk as prisoner and used it as a mount. Interesting. Debasing. And horrid."
Dragons? Kind of whispering.
There's kind of like a quick turn of the dragon's head towards Lose, like It's just like a small thing, but it's enough. It's enough to be like. It's enough to like make like every part of like the lower portion of Losei's body just kind of like tense.
Yeah. Well, she's kind of just mostly like surprised that someone had the gall to ride a dragon.
Sure.
Like,
Not a common thing.
you can do that?
There are legends about it, but they're ancient ones in the time of heroes.
Like, not by force. I wouldn't suggest it.
Consent is key. Consent. Charlotte will kind of look onto the artificer as he finishes the sentence, and then turn back to the dragon and say, "You face a problem, to be certain. I understand that you are a resident of the southern coast of the Levidian Plains, the forests therein, the old halfling residences. Is that right?" The dragon nods his head. Charlotte will nod in kind. "By the concordance signed by the Jernaran predecessors of the great Duchy of Levidia, I swear that no force of this great duchy will come against dragonkind in our current endeavors against the Denisotvans, unless those dragons show claim to be in league with the Denisotvan forces, with our enemy. You will not be hunted for no reason, simply because of the presumed alliances of old." Dragon nods. "My second matter, expecting the same precedent," and everyone kind of falls silent when the dragon says that. The dragon says, "I demand that draconic representation be put forward onto the Council of Penford. Understanding that old alliances with individuals who have torn this land asunder and ripped apart the nations of Jernaris have caused your people to wage war against one another, not just the Denisotvans versus the Duchy of Levidia, but also the Barony of Ulamon before the Denisotvans attack, separating itself from the Levidians. The great Vale of Heroes to the south, the Osser Vale, removing itself for its own religious desires. The Storm Herald's madness on the island of Ordris. These separations have not gone unnoticed by us and our kind. We see you as nothing more than children fighting over things that aren't truly yours but are your parents. To earn what has been granted you, we demand you seek wisdom, guidance from your elders." A draconic pause. Charlotte asks again, "Do I have permission to respond?" Goldbelly responds, "Of course." She says, "Who do you suggest?" Goldbelly smiles a very toothy grin. "Myself, of course. You understand how this council works? Only lords may enter into this space. Only those who can grant tribute to the city of Penford for its betterment." The dragon smiles and reaches towards its clawed hand. I guess dragons have hands. Its hand,
His claw.
Claw.
The
its
claw.
finger,
paw.
and
His little paw.
and pulls off a ring, tosses it down onto the floor where it expands in size. Again, Decalis is hands out again, looks at it very quickly, kind of smiles, almost like quaint, like that's a quaint thing that just happened. But everyone else, it's like this very surprising, weird spinning gold ring, like a hula hoop that just went wild in its own space for a minute. And then all of the gold and wealth that you saw at the bottom of that ship, back at Goldbelly's casino, dispenses itself out in front of the council.
Oh, I mean, we could have just told him about it. We saw it.
Goldbelly says, "Will this suffice?" Charlotte nods. Welcome to the council.
I'm like, this dragon just bought his way onto the council.
The dragon will then kind of, as like the meeting kind of falls to a hush, people are kind of talking in chamber. The dragon will kind of turn back to your group. You have adhered to your agreement, or to our agreement, looking towards. I believe Orlandis was the one who struck the deal.
Yeah.
You have kept your end of the bargain, and I will keep mine. I now serve as a member of the Council of Penford, and in that power I will do everything I can to assist you. My red apples will, in time, arrive here, and I will hope to insert them into Antwain's barricade on the southern side of this city, hopefully dispensing more problems for this city that have caused problems for the people outside of this city for such a long time. Out of character, Bravik is probably the only one who recognizes the name Antwain. Antwain is the bandit king, or the bandit lord, who rules over southern Penford. I think I mentioned him like very quickly in passing a while ago. We were
You had
covering
mentioned
this
him in the casino.
Yeah, also there. Yep, it was very much a thing that we wanted Antwain to be kind of. This is happening.
Yep. Hadrian and
Those two were arguing about it.
yeah.
Yep. Because they're barricading stuff from getting out. Children
Yep.
squabbling over things that aren't theirs. Or things that were their parents.
Yep.
So, Orlandis is gonna do a Parnan bow. And then he's gonna tell Gold Billy, I thank you. And I'm glad we could have had this deal be successful.
Of course. And I'm glad that you upheld your honor and your position as a true representative of the Aetan tradition. A servant not only to the elves, but to society, community, and culture. And he will hand you a gold stone.
Ooh.
And then
Another
he will
one to put in my hand.
show you that he
Don't you do it.
has another. And he says to you, if you raise this to the sun, only during the daylight will this work, and you call my name again, as you did here in this council chamber, I can come to you for a limited time,
Ooh.
wherever you are.
Add that to the character sheet.
This will act as an answer to the favor that you have bestowed upon me. However, inside of Penford, if there are any political endeavors that you wish to engage in, any matters that I can help you with, I will also help you with that as well, in addition to this boon I grant you.
We find out why we have a bounty on a certain member of our party.
I can certainly ascertain that. So after like the bit, the dragon kind of turns back and opens his wings, which immediately quiets the entirety of the chamber. And like for you guys, like dragon fear, but we're not gonna roll it out. It's just holy shit. That is still a whole ass dragon. And he says, I address the council as a member of it. I seek information. Charlotte states, all information we have is, of course, at your perusal. If it is matters that must be kept secret, I would implore you not to broach the questions here in the public discourse of court. Goldbelly responds, for that, no matter what, I wish the answers spoken aloud here. A member of Orlandis's crew has a bounty upon their head. Turns around, big dragon head just popping right in front of Orlandis. What was the name of The person who has the bounty. And the whispering is very clearly heard throughout the space.
It is.
What was the name of the person?
It is Castia.
Turns back with a Castia. Charlotte. Castia has a bounty on her head from the Dynast for being an affront to the Covenant of the Ascended.
The what?
Dacellus kind of steps forward and raises his hand, and in perfect Draconic says, Great Dragon, allow me to help you understand. And then in the common tongue, Parnan warrior, your ally, the child you call Castia, is an affront to the laws of mortality.
Looks, I'm like looks around at all of the people that are using that, the dancing turtle to stay alive.
What do you mean? She is not natural?
Divine edict is not allowed to affect the world of mortals directly. She is a goddess made flesh.
Yes?
Yes.
She's just a girl.
You'll note that the contract upon her was for her to be brought in alive.
It said alive or dead. You might want to double check that.
Not terribly familiar with bounties, and it's kind of a new process for me, I'll be completely honest. Unfortunately, my normal method of seeking out individuals in the wild, looking over at Sanat, disbanded due to unfortunate circumstances, which will hopefully be remedied shortly.
Hey, at least
So-
most of my last party survived. Okay.
I mean,
Pretty
and,
good.
and half of the people who went away, like, they volunteered, okay?
Yeah.
So she is a goddess made flesh.
Yes.
I
That would
can
explain a lot. I guess because I don't remember what happened in the tower, right? So
Yeah.
I'd be like,
So
well, that
this is
explains a lot.
again news to you, but it's being kind of relayed to you in a different format. It's being relayed to you by what Sanat would consider an authority. Dacellus says, "I do not seek her harm. I am not a member of the Grey Order. I was the one who put the bounty forward on behalf of the Dynast. I would very much like to speak to her. If you wish, you can accompany her in this discourse. However,
Can we have our dragon friend with us?
Yeah.
you see Dacellus smile. Oh, you're not there. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been so dismissive. He would have been so dismissive, and oh, it would have been so
I was
funny.
like, my money is not on the dragon.
He would have been like,
despite-
yeah, sure.
Let me just
Keep your
tell you.
fucking dragon.
Out of
Why
the-
not?
out of the 3 there, my money is not on the, or the 4, I guess. My money's not on the dragon.
It's like giving me a head start, like running against Usain Bolt.
Yeah. It's like, do you want to just call in all the dragons the dragon mentioned? I mean, I'm down.
It's giving
Time
me a
stop.
30-minute head start.
Shit, he just did an illegal.
More goddamn chronomancy. John.
He just fucking chronomancy. He's cheating. And then when
cheating.
he's done, he's heist-ricked fucking 3 of them. Oh god. And they're all casting meteor sword. Anyway, hypotheticals. But back to the point. Dacellus says, I would very much like to speak to her. I am not a servant of the Grey Order. I am not certain that they are even aware of her presence as of yet. However, I know that when they are, it will cause problems for everyone around her.
If no harm can come to her, then
And perhaps a meeting in a more discreet location.
Of course, my tower.
And
Sonat.
we'll
In
have
order.
to ask her first, because
My tower,
mean-
Sonat. You know where it is. And he'll kind of just wave his hand and just gone. The dragon kind of looks at it. He didn't even.
where'd he go?
He didn't even speak the words. The dragon says, which Sonat, you're kind of like, huh? he just quick and cast teleport.
Yeah.
What a show off.
Yeah. I wouldn't want
Waves
to
arm in that
be against him in
space.
anything.
Yeah, there's nothing there. He didn't disappear. It wasn't a trick.
Yeah. How'd he do that?
Yeah.
He just Batman.
Magic.
I ain't seen magic like that before.
With prestidigitation, make sparkle.
So outside, having a fun time, going shopping. Eventually, the group will reconvene with you after the discourse. Unless there's anything else anybody wanted to say to the council or the dragon.
Nothing comes to mind yet.
Is he okay helping? He and the council okay helping us with the worm?
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
the
I-
dragon
I
says he will serve as a boon for Orlandis and Orlandis's call at any time. And I want to make sure you understand. This is a situation where when you're in a boss fight, Jonah, this is where you want to summon it and it will help you, okay? I just want to make sure you understand. I wanted to put that onto the table
I need
for
an intimidation
you.
check, dragon.
Well, no. Hold on, everybody. I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Jonah, I
yeah,
just want to
yeah.
explain that to you.
No, this is
in
this is good.
full detail. I want to make sure you understand the power I've given you. There are no tricks. There are no
Okay.
traps. It is 100% for you to have that and do it, and it will be awesome. And you could
Okay.
you could potentially ride the dragon. It would be rad.
Okay.
Oh
as,
shit!
as the
Summon
knights
him
of
while you're falling.
as the knights of old Aeten once did in the elvish loyal dragons of old.
Fuck
No
yeah.
fucking way.
But that said, you meet up, you regroup. If there's nothing else to be said to the council or the dragon, and
You got a stone that summons a dragon. I just have a damn tower that can move us wherever.
wherever we want.
I'm like,
Lathel's like, I got an
I'm
axe
like,
and a sword.
I can make this. Can I make this tower materialize
Literally, well,
inside of
yeah.
the boss?
We were like talking about
But-
assets. I'm like, I got an axe. And
You're
some
also-
big arms.
Also, the adoptive mother of a deity, so there could, we
That
got a
doesn't listen to me anyway.
You'll never prove that in court.
teenage motherfucking.
Yeah, fucking teenager.
Typical.
Don't touch that. But I wanna. You're not my mom.
You're not my real mom.
And then later, when it proved to be the right thing, she's like, "Told you so, told you so." You're
Yeah,
like,
I
"You
told you
didn't."
Not a phased, Mom. God.
Yeah, that is again. I got an axe and I got big arms. Okay, that's my asset.
That's it. Focus on that. Yeah. Okay, so you regroup. Who wants to tell Castia or ask Castia?
Let's see.
Okay. So, Castia, we found out who has given you your bounty, and he just wants to talk. Apparently, he didn't want you dead, just alive. So the bounty lied. Are you okay talking with him? You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's kind of
I-
advised, I guess.
I
I
can
don't-
vouch for his character.
I
However,
don't know who to trust, and be honest, if somebody said it was a mistake to have an order to potentially kill me, I'm not exactly want to trust them.
I mean, I'm with you there because it does say alive or dead.
I've had bad dreams since I got here, since Battlefield found me of a red comet crashing down and causing all kinds of problems. But if this person is as powerful as you say they are, I'm afraid they might be responsible for that.
I mean, that's fair. He did say he knows someone from the Grey Order? I think he said it was.
He said that he was not part of the Grey Order.
Well, he's not a part of the Grey Order, but he's connected somehow, or he knows that they don't know, which means somehow he knows what they know.
You know,
Knows that they know that they don't know.
I love the accent was going full, like, all over the place with that.
Castia will be very quiet for a minute when that is revealed. I don't feel very safe meeting him then. Something is telling me to run far, far away.
All right. Well, we can defeat this worm. Then, that's still okay. Looks
Cage the
to
worm.
Sanat.
I don't think we could beat the worm, but we could cage the worm.
I mean, we're gonna try our best. I mean, if she is a deity like he said she is,
Castia will shrink back a bit at that
I mean-
just being like spoken.
If I may, I do not like the idea of prancing you around the council or powerful mages, but I think
Looks over.
this would be the most beneficial to remove the bounty and have some insight into what you truly are.
he didn't say that he was going to remove the bounty.
That is true, but it is a possibility.
Sanat taps their chin. Maybe I should have mentioned he should remove the bounty.
Yeah, that would have been.
Hindsight.
You can precede them and ask. Again, you know where he is.
Yeah.
He said he's in his tower.
Yeah. But also, I note that we said we would ask her, and it's ultimately her decision. So.
Again, I don't think DeKellis is going to be troubled by
Yeah.
inconveniences. He's not like he's a psychopath. You know he's not.
Castia will.
We're just getting clarification
I
on
don't know
some
this.
things.
Joseph, he had to deal with the Sunday group. You know he's the most patient person that's ever existed.
Castia will reach into one of her bags and grab something unseen and look to Bathil as if to ask what she should do.
I can't tell you not to go, but we will respect your decision nonetheless. I will be by your side, and you're always our Castia. It doesn't matter if you're a goddess or if you're just a teenager. Well, I'll be by your side, whatever you decide. I am not a big fan of this person, but I haven't met them, to see all the cool magic they just did. I
Oh, they
wasn't there
just
for that.
disappeared. Didn't say a word. Didn't move. They just gone.
I'll be right back.
So that makes me worry a little bit because he seems very powerful, and if he does decide that he wants to harm you, can we guarantee her safety? Looks to the group who were there.
I mean, I could always duel him.
Okay.
I don't know how he is with a sword, but I could try.
Well, her safety is my number one concern.
I mean,
and I don't want to take her
same.
there if we think that he will harm her. I know he said he wouldn't, but
I know Joseph's not there, but again, I do want to
Yeah.
stress. I mean, it's not for me to say.
He posted his
Yeah.
vote
Okay.
They did.
in the in the chat. They did, sorry. They posted
Got
their
the
vote.
lightning stuff.
No,
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 in
in-
the-
in-
in
oh,
the-
Roll20
oh,
chat.
in the roll-20. Okay, because I was
Yeah.
like, where?
Oh, yeah. I was
Same
like,
thing, like, don't
All
say-
right.
oh, okay.
I was like, I put it in roll 20 because we were joking too much in the other one. But yeah,
Oh,
no,
fair.
I
Oh,
trust
okay,
him.
that's
I trust him intrinsically. And I don't believe if he said he was not going to hurt you, he would not hurt you. However, I will not force you to go meet with him. But I do believe if anyone would be a great ally to have, it would be him.
We'll say.
What do you think?
I mean, he seems trustworthy enough, and I mean, I'll fight him if he tries anything. I don't care if he can just like poof out and blink of an eye. I'll chase him. I will track him down.
I don't think he would run.
Ah, thanks. That's super helpful.
I
You don't
Damn.
get to his position without having some capability.
Would you rather
I'm-
go and work on the worm and think about it? We don't have to go right
I-
away.
We could do that.
Give you some
W-
time
At
to
the
think it over.
mention of the worm, Castia's eyes will kind of dart over to Sanat, and a different expression of concern will come across her face, more of a worry about something externally than herself. I am afraid to meet whoever this is, but if so many of you think that it's in my best interest and our best interest, then I will.
Okay. So, Decal specifically stated whoever. I don't think he's going to bar anybody from the meeting. So whoever Castia wants to go along. If it's the whole crew, it's the whole crew. That's fine.
She would ask the whole crew to come, but understand if they don't want to get involved in something that seems to be a incredibly complicated situation.
So all of Blathild's ideas regarding the competency of combat immediately fall away when something that is known to Sanat is then made relevant to you. There are no stairs in Dekelis' tower. When you arrive at the base of the tower, Sanat sends forward an arcane beacon using prestidigitation, noting that they are there, basically ringing the doorbell, at which time Dekelis then activates a reversed gravity that forces everyone to float softly in a featherfall-like sense to the ceiling, which is also now the floor. You stand at the base or the top of the tower, in the center of which is a round table. In the center of that table floats a very strange looking, but to Sanat very familiar looking, metal orb. The Lodestar. Dekelis sits in a chair away from the table at a window, looking at the inverted horizon lazily as you all kind of take your positions around the table. He says, make yourselves comfortable, and I'm going to go ahead and just ask you a question regarding the room and what you think of it, and then I'm going to explain something to you that will be very strange for you in character. So, Vravik, when you kind of take your position in the room, it's table, walls are lined with books, there's one chair in the room apparently, and Dekelis is in it. What would be your thought when he says, make yourselves comfortable?
To the corner.
But what would be comfortable for Vravik?
Would be comfortable
Yes, in that
Not being
corner.
upside down.
Well, it doesn't feel like you're upside down.
A chair made out of cheese.
He just wants to be able to see everything. He does not
So,
trust magic. So
The corner, but is there anything in particular, like seat-wise, that Vravik would prefer?
he's not gonna sit.
Okay. So you head over to the corner. There is no seat for you. Orlandis,
Swing in the corner.
you are told to make yourself comfortable. You look around the table. What would Orlandis' first thought in comfortability be?
His grandfather's old chair. It was made out of dark wood.
Strangely, the very chair sits at the table now when you take another gaze at it, ready for you to take it and sit. Blathill, similar question. He says, make yourself comfortable. You see Vravik move to the corner. You see Orlandis pull up a chair from seemingly nowhere. As you kind of look around for comfortability, what would Blathild's thought be on the matter?
I would think of probably something cushioned, like an actual comfy cushioned chair, but I still want to be close to Castia.
Probably goes to your high-backed, cushioned, like leather chair back in the farm, and there it is, right near Orlandis's. When Orlandis looks over to it, he recognizes it. Several meetings for the agitators were held in Blathild's farmhouse, and Blathild takes it, and it feels identical. There is nothing that seems to be amiss. Every small scratch, cut, tear, from the children playing on the sides of it, jumping up the back of it, to you setting your axe down too heavily beside it after a long day of chopping lumber. It's identical. There's no way that he moved your chair from there to here. This is strange to be sure. Sanat, whatever is the usual for you. This isn't your first rodeo. You've been in the Mage's Tower before. Lose?
She would actually just stand wherever Castia is sitting. Just defensively.
Castia, your perfect seat, your perfect comfortability.
I feel like, given the situation and what has been revealed, it would be something anachronistic, like from the visions that she probably saw from grabbing the runestone.
From the past.
Yeah, I'm trying to look through all of my notes from back in the day, and I feel like there's something, but I can't remember.
The throne of Aluane manifests.
Oh,
Fuck!
So
okay.
a divine
Alright.
chair appears near your, or probably across from. It is a radiant thing, resplendent to be sure. And
Christ.
Castia and there's kind of a moment for Castia where she's like, you're kind of having a hard time believing that it's there. And you walk over and touch it, and it's real. It feels real. DeCalis hasn't even turned his head. He's still just kind of looking out the window.
Lose just kind of looks at the chair like,
Okay, go off, Queen. Go off.
alright, it's better than the chair I had back home.
So for you, Vravik, watching it from aside, they were always there. But they were never there. For you, you're someone who has a quick eye. You can see when the thing appears or when the hand has been slighted, right? You understand these motions, these gestures, these magical kind of effects, when the spell has been cast, when the fingers have been waggled. No such thing has happened here. The chairs were always there, but the chairs were never there. And for you, you're kind of like, huh. DeCalis lazily, just from his chair, says, Sanat, in this room, how many do you think have danced the Dance Eternal?
Oh boy.
You? He stands, turns, brushes his robes. Me. But we weren't the first. No. She was. And he gestures to Castia and her divine throne.
Oh. Oh.
I won't lie to you. Not to your face. I did say to the others that it was a mistake to put dead or alive on the bounty. This is not a threat. I am not attempting to kill you. But if another attempted to take your life, I don't think that it would have worked. I think that there is something inside of you that, if you were to flee this mortal coil, would either be released into this world and draw a lot of attention, or return back to where it belongs. I am sorry for lying to you in court, but as I've come to learn with the members of the council, that seems to be common practice with politics.
I've learned that seems to be common practice for a lot of people.
And I apologize for it. In this space, I will tell you that I am not going to speak a falsehood. If you do not believe me, I'm sure there are methods within your power that will force the truth of me.
Sanat's like, you lied to me? I'm in spring mode, so I'm not keeping it inside.
Yeah. He kind of looks at Sanat.
And I just kind of glare at Sanat.
I'm
Mr.
like-
I trust him implicitly.
For measure. For measure. And then he looks to Blothild. I understand your protective desires. I understand that the war in the West has caused you a lot of heartache. From what I've been able to ascertain through reporting, you have lost many a family member. Your children's father, and members of your progeny as well. Sarth kind of standing near Castia as well, like Lose, kind of looks at him like face punching kind of mode, but kind of lets it cool. The Kellis kind of looks, maintains like a gaze with Blothild. The conglomerate has tried everything in its power to stop the Denisotvin's control of Anundia, to stop others from suffering as you have, as others have. I trust Reuben will be successful in his efforts. I've never trusted a man as much as I have that wizard. As I said to you, Lady Stasia, I will be forthright with you in every matter. As I mentioned to Sanat, we dance a dance that is different than others. We dance a dance eternal. What this means is that we are not bound by mortal rules, but we are not ourselves gods. We play at something different.
Well, I don't do that dance anymore.
But you are capable. He
I'm
says,
also capable of living quite a long time.
he says, well, you are blessed with that. He moves to Orlandus and kind of looks to him. When Parnan dies, it is said that he faces the Saint of Ariu for making his way to the wheel. It is said that he shows his prowess as a warrior by going through the martial techniques that he was taught in life. Is this not so?
It is.
He looks to Lose. Is it not said that the Twilight Knights, when they die, they too perform their demonstrations before Varhuin to ensure their place among his side?
They do.
And I know it's true of Jernarans, as I have long been one, he says as he looks back to Blothild, that if they died heroically in battle, they would have a chance to show their true muster before the one who spins them within the wheel. I, through much study and through, unfortunately, scrolling through the entirety of the atrocities that our organization have committed since its inception, I've learned how to perform this dance unerringly. There are multiple techniques for this dance. Sanat is quite skilled in this dance. How many times is it for you, Sanat, that you have died? Under a dozen?
Yes.
There was one among your number who died thousands of times.
That
His
is a
name
lot
is
for one
Avram
person to go through.
What'd you say,
One.
Chana?
His name is Avram Normack.
No, he just died the one time. There were a lot of dying spells, but the real death was the time he got ate by a dragon.
Yeah.
In Dungeons and Dragons. Dikelis looks back to the group, kind of scrolling over everyone. Not much lore about this in Ratfolk Society. I know that their views on death are a little bit more final. The understanding that death is a true end. And there's no real need to desire more beyond that because the life you lead is what's important. Is for me a belief that's worth getting behind. The form of the dance that I follow is different than Sanat's. Sanat's is requiring of a strength of spirit. Mine is requiring of a strength of body. But both, he gestures towards Castia, are performed by her and her partner.
Castia's posture will change just a little. Instead of kind of shrinking back into this throne, she'll actually lean forward almost a little confrontationally, and again shifting to that slightly more confident voice. Strange. I'm under the impression that certain powerful forces don't approve of eternal dance. In fact, I believe somebody was punished quite severely for that.
You're not wrong. The techniques that I employ are not too dissimilar from techniques that have been employed by the faithful for generations. Unfortunately, the conglomerate used such divine magics to make their own nigh immortal. The dance requires skill. It requires it to be earned. Divine magic can be taken from scroll, from item, from place. And arcane magic can be used to corrupt the physical, to make it immortal, to make it unending. I'm sure that many of you are familiar with the stories of Osiria's Lich Magir, Archelius,
Yeah.
tyrant who took over their kingdoms. Conglomerate has dealt with numbers of abominations and abhorrent individuals who abused magic despite boasting to be the wardens of the rules of magic that we codified. As I said, I have moved through tomes and scrolls and aeons, millennia of falsehoods. The one I spoke of just earlier, Bodhisattva, a member of Sanat's group, was tortured just for being what he was, someone blessed with a knack for dancing. I was fortunate enough to find Sanat and members of his original company, most of them of an elvish nature.
But I make the scowl.
It wasn't hard to teach Sanat the techniques. They are very capable of maneuvering through the seasonal winds. Change for them is quite easy, and it's quite important for the dance. I want to make sure that you understand my purpose here. I wish to lay bare my own sins. He moves away from the table back towards his chair, and you can hear, Braddock especially, a blade being pulled from his robe.
Reaches.
If there's like casual responses,
I was like,
Yeah.
I start to stand up, like, we promise safety.
you see him turn around and he says, "Of course, I will bring no harm to anyone besides myself," he says as he places the dagger against his pinky and slices it clean off. It drops to the floor, bloodless. He takes the dagger and slides it back into its sheath in his robes. And he holds his hand up. From the point where the finger was cut off, you see small little maggot-like creatures coming out of the wound. On the floor, you see likewise from the other end of the finger. He reaches down and he grabs it, puts it back, and in moments, it's almost as if there was no cut whatsoever.
What the fuck was that?
You again.
He says, "The tango of the worm."
Did you just say the tango of the worm?
I did.
Through all of that, Castia remains surprisingly unfazed.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Is it worm WORM or WYRM?
Do you ask that aloud? Because he doesn't.
I'm like,
Please spell that for me.
and they're like, what?
So I will say this for inflection, because you're a Parnan, so pronunciation is clear. Like, he's speaking in a Jernaran accent, which again we don't really do, right? But when someone would say worm, like a worm, like do the worm, right? Like worm. When they would say like the draconic version of that, it would be Wyrm.
Gotcha.
So
Thank you.
I will say both the same, but do ask me on that, and I will say which one is which, if it's
I
draconic or
want to point
not.
out the maggots coming out of the finger didn't give y'all a clue.
Right.
I'm like,
Fair.
I'm
You know
like,
what?
you said that, and I'm like,
It's been a
where-
minute. It's been a minute.
Hold on. Everyone who asks questions lose inspiration, and Bravik gained all those inspirations. No, no, I'm kidding. Everybody still has inspiration. No changes. He says, the worm, first created from a bound Lady of the Deep by ancient elvish members of a sect that would later become a part of the conglomerate. In fact, one of that sect's members was an individual that called themselves the Scion of the conglomerate and was responsible for the downfall of the great city of Ainkarad. Now nothing more than a town in the great wilds of the forests of the Feywild.
Do you have his number?
Dekalis actually genuinely laughs at that. I don't, because his number has already been taken by my brother.
Right.
As has been stated here, there are several people who, in this room, play at the line of what is allowed and what is not by the Covenant. What the Grey Order would pounce upon and what they would not.
Hardly fair.
I don't disagree. But the one known as the Scion of the conglomerate stepped over that line, and the Red Comet came for him.
Castia's eyes will flash with concern again, and her posture will shrink back a little bit.
You actually see DeKellis's interest kind of focus in on you, as if like that gesture, like that, causes him to want to know more. Like you can actually feel him prying you with his gaze. Sarth kind of leans over your chair and kind of says, "Look, sir, I understand that you're important."
Castia will hold up a hand.
Sarth stops.
Stay safe.
You see him kind of shrink back a bit, but you can also see in his face that like he's very concerned and very desiring to kind of do something here because he's not sure what's going on and he knows you're not comfortable. Good.
I've had, ever since I first woke up in the farmhouse, I've had dreams of that comet, a red comet,
That makes sense.
and bad feelings.
Explain this red comet to us.
The Red Comet is an individual known as Shade Thathos. He is a member of the Grey Order. He is seen as their first line of offense when it comes to matters that shy against the Covenant. They send him to investigate, but also to deal with if he is capable, and he is quite capable. I assume your dreams come from your other selves.
I don't know.
Of course not. I have spent some time investigating your matter. That's why I put up the bounties. That's why I wish to test fate here. You were seen last in Osiria 700 years ago. Well, not entirely true. There are some who say you were seen, 60 years ago in the city of Rastagar, Parnak at its fall, when the great pyramid of souls fell from the heavens and crushed the royal city. You were there, but so was the Grey Order. It said that you were in Osiria some 600 years ago, with the Black Blade, which came to find itself in Rastagar, strangely enough.
Castia will glance down at a pouch. Just for a moment.
I think that you have tried to surface several times. I find it interesting that you come to me in the world so nascent, so childlike, but yet so filled with potential. It would make perfect sense for someone so dedicated to freedom to not burden even yourself with the baggage of your history. To purpose, though. I've revealed something of myself for a reason. For history. The Tango of the Worm. Those elves. Those chronomantic elves that wished to control the Lady of the Deep. The part of it that they had. Wished to know more of the moon. In their understanding. Some say that this creature, this Lady of the Deep, hides in the dark side of it. I don't know the truth of it. I've never been to the moon. I'm sure it's lovely, but I'm more of a grounded person. I like the places I know. Point is, they took it from wherever it was and bound it to where Sanat and the others found it. It wasn't a prison, it was a laboratory.
Did you know it was there?
No. When you reported on it, I thought it was a matter that had to do with the Six. And you almost see him kind of like shift his head for a second, and then kind of look, just like a quick glance over at Lose. Who are also of very great interest to me, but unfortunately, a lot of the secrets regarding them are guarded.
It's just the 5 now.
I'm sure it's less. From what I understand,
Sure.
from what I understand of Ruben's reporting, the matters regarding the Six are troubling around Ordris, to be sure. They were experimenting on the creature. A creature that had a very, very potent capability of regenerating itself. So much so that if it were split in twain, it would not just have one, but two.
Like a Hydra?
No. Like 2 hydras.
Like, you cut one of them in half and you get 2 full
Volume.
Ladies of the Deep.
Correct.
Oh.
That's
If you split it again, you get even more.
Depends on how much you split it by, but yes, it mathematically would equal out. I'll be completely honest. The mathematics of base calculation are not exactly my forte. I have ascended beyond them, well past my timing.
I turn and look at you and I'm like, we're not cutting it in half. You haven't seen how massive this thing is.
It's not impossible, but I wouldn't suggest it.
I'm like, we're not dealing with 2 of this thing.
The point is that they utilized its techniques, its capabilities, to craft the tango that I am a part of, and that others, the first of my attempts, unfortunately, I was not under full control of Penford's conglomerate. And the individuals that were chosen were not the most. They were not the best candidates for this technique. When I tell you I came to Sanat and chose them specifically, and those that were with them, I tell you that there was not just a matter of seeing them and then electing them to be a person ready for this very important, life-changing technique. I tell you that I studied them fully. Mind, body, and soul. But the individuals who first got inducted into my plans were unfortunately selected by my predecessors. After dispatching them, I was allowed to make 3 more groups. Sanat being one of those groups. Sanat's second group being the second of those groups. Or the third of those groups. The first group was mad with power and psychotically slayed a number of dwarves on the White Coast, and I believe are in league with gnomes in the Foul Deep, and also dwarves in the city of Ancrag. Not really a matter for me as of yet. But
I thought I removed them from the Dance Eternal.
no, not the first. Not the ones who danced the tango. The second group were the godless. The second technique of the dance, which I think is more closely related to Lady Stasia and her partner, is if you enter into death and there is no judge, then you do not have to dance. For some, this is done by a means of having something that remains in this world that needs to be fulfilled. Unfortunately, with this measure, you are already set up for a psychic dampening. You become a slave to that task. You've heard of ghosts, you've heard of specters, wraiths, these undead of an incorporeal form. And the godless were set up in this dance to be able to remain here for purpose, but not specified, but a purpose that would cause the judges of the afterlife to allow for this slight, this transgression against the normal order. And the more perfected matter of it, he gestures to Snot and then gestures to the weird orb in the center of the table that's kind of floating there. In my opinion, the perfected dance. When Sanat would die, Sanat's spirit would remain here. But because Sanat is always dancing in the afterlife, the judge waits until the dance is complete. But because Sanat can dance and can do other things, Sanat can continue here in life until an effigy can be reformed for them. And he gestures to the lodestar in the center of the room by very powerful dwarvish magics. Craftsmanship like you would never believe. I am of the opinion, Lady Stasia, that you are but one of a number of attempts by your godhead, by your deified personage, to try and restore yourself to a semblance of your pre-covenant being, your freedom. And your partner in this attempt is someone who was also equally wronged in this ancient covenant the Grey Order have bound the Divine to. Unfortunately, saying his name and title for most of you will lead you to believe that this is a matter of light and dark, which I hope I don't paint him in too much of a negative light by telling you that your partner in this is the dark god of sorcery and death, Alanusero, also known as Onionomen, the first mortal being that walked on Urs.
He has told me to find another way.
I don't know what that means.
Nor do I.
I simply wish for you to understand this. I offer you guidance, but I, of course, have aims of my own. The Lady of the Deep would see you as a beacon to her. She would think of you as a very interesting bait. I don't doubt that this has come across Sanat's mind in the time that they have spent with you. And Sanat, if I understand correctly, very much desires this creature to be put inside of a tower. You help in that matter. And you have Sanat's loyalty in protecting you from the Grey Order. And you have my promise that the most powerful faction of the Grey Order will not come for you, as my brother is the leader of that faction. Unfortunately,
Castio.
that does not omit the red comet that you've seen in your dreams.
He is a powerful psychic warrior.
Indeed.
Castio will turn to Sanat. I said earlier today that people should be allowed to make their own decisions. So, do you agree with that?
I do. And I also, yeah, I do. I'm like, yes. I may have the power to help, like, defend you from the Grey Order. I don't think there's much I could do with an entity such as the Red Comet, but definitely can help in by other means.
Castia will turn back to Kellis and again kind of lean forward, shift posture a little bit. And what is in it for you?
Very interesting perspective. Perhaps my statement of your nascency was misjudged and unfounded. A great question, to be sure.
I don't know why I felt the need to ask that, but
I've already confirmed with my brother that I would not interfere in this matter whatsoever. He assures me that there is one individual amongst the Grey Order that is very interested in finding you. Now, as I said, they are not aware of you who sits before us. When I say you, I mean the divine you. An individual named Thorn Stashianato, champion of the moon, loyal servant of the goddess Stasia.
without her expression changing or otherwise reacting to it, a tear will leak out and down Castia's cheek.
For what purpose he wishes to find you, I know not. But my brother Nayland states that that is impossible to stop.
We are bound.
And so am I. As I said, I cannot help you directly. That is my agreement with my brother. But Sanat is not a direct assistance, as you stated. It is their choice that they are aiding you. You would be helping me. I will be remaining out of it. What do I get out of it? And as I said, I will not lie to you. What I get is the Lady of the Deep bound away in a chronomantic prison where it belongs, removed from the current conflict in my region, sealed away and stopped. The tide of the conflict with the Denisothans could change horrifically if that creature moves to the east, or if their grand wizards find a way of ensorceling it. I know it's outside of my power, and most of the mages in Old Hystric as well, to do likewise. Of course, enchantment was never my favored school of magic, as tearing away agency from others has never been something I personally have desired. I'm much more of a destroy my opponents if I feel that it comes to it. So, that is the deal. That is my desire. The worm to be removed from this plane and put into the tower.
And how would you suggest we act if we are approached by this red comet in the meantime?
Run!
Run.
Do you
I think it's
we
funny
could
if they both
run
say it
away?
at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually-
I like looks around like, you really think you can run? Like, I mean,
Let me
may not
explain.
I have a tower that can help us run, but
I've been around
Listen.
for a while.
yeah,
I've been around for a while, a long while. In fact, the elves that I mentioned being the burden of my life weren't so far removed temporally from me when I was imbued with my tango. The creature that you know as the Red Comet, this individual, he has lived since the beginning of the Third Age. He was chosen by the Court of Seasons, specifically Ryan, the Undying Soldier, and gifted power over death and immortality by a godlike being. When the covenant was struck, there were but two choices for him: have that removed from him, or serve the balance. He chose the latter. The armor he is encased in is made out of shards of the gates that keep this very world from being spun into oblivion at the edge of creation. The axe he wields sings the songs that bore the world into being. The power of his mind. I have lived for generations. He could break my mind in moments. I
do
don't
you
doubt.
expect us to be able to run away?
Oh, yes. He's very slow. The only reason he can get anywhere quickly is because they launch him into the plane from the Astral Sea.
Oh, and that's why he becomes a red comet?
Right.
Oh, they're just throwing him.
They just launch him straight at Urs from somewhere in the heavens.
That's gotta hurt whenever he lands.
He can't die.
I mean,
Doesn't mean it
he
doesn't
can't
hurt.
die, but it could still hurt. You
I
know?
know efficiency-wise, it's stupid, but if you think about it
Ugh.
from a magical perspective, if you're going into a place where you're not sure whether or not
Yeah,
magic's going to
yeah.
work or not, it's kind of brilliant.
No, yeah, I can agree with you there. But like the landing,
If your aim is precise enough, too, like you could solve the problem right off the shot. Zakelis is like, sorry.
It seems hardly fair that he's allowed to live forever, come and go as he pleases.
He doesn't live in the material plane. And he doesn't come and go as he pleases. He comes and goes at edict. Only if the covenant is broken is he allowed to transgress.
A matter of nuance.
I don't disagree. It's why I have not joined up with my brother in his silly little covenant.
I am
fair.
afraid, but if I do have some kind of divine power and we'll look back at the throne that she apparently brought into existence with her mind, and that seems like it may be the case. The least I can do is try to make things better and stop the Denisottvans from causing the pain and taking away the freedom like they have for my adoptive family. And I am also afraid that bringing this Lady of the Deep to me may also draw the attention that something inside me is very certain I don't want, but if that is what has to be done, so be it.
Has measures for your quick escape. I am certain that if you are able to remove yourself from the equation quickly, then you should have no issue. The Lady of the Deep is a creature that is of this world. that is unfortunately infused with matters outside of this world. In fact, the creature itself was here during the primordial beginnings of the world. A great beast that dwelled on the surface and hunted like any other beasts of predatory methods. Great rituals and rites were performed upon it by ancestors of old, and they changed it eternally. Fortunately, those rites are lost in the sands of time in the Lost Age, and will hopefully never be replicated ever again. And as far as I understand, the Lady of the Deep can be segmented and split off into disparate parts, same as each other. I know that one was seen and combated in Osiria not that long ago, near the city of Nock in the Broken Blade Coast. Fortunately, it was bound, but there was no Grey Order response to it. Additionally, there was no Grey Order response in the few weeks that have passed, or 6 days that have passed, since this creature has been unearthed by Sanat and his crew, or their crew, and that leads me to believe that they are not interested in engaging with it, and they do not think that it breaches the covenant. So,
I'm not concerned about it. I'm concerned about them seeing me when I draw the beast's attention. If the beast can sense me, perhaps they can too.
a fair assessment. In this passing, then I will try and give you every ability that I can to aid you in this matter. He gestures his hand, and the lodestar hits the table, the big iron thing, with a thud. So it's kind of like just out of nowhere, thud, and it starts rolling towards Sanat. When it gets to you, Sanat, you kind of stop it. You'll see that there's a large crack through it. This was recovered from the ruins, pulled up from the sand by very crafty magic on my part, if I don't say so myself.
You went near that thing?
Not me in particular. There are other ways to go to places, as you're aware. As you can see, it is not quite as functional as it should be. However, if you meet your demise in this effigy, it has enough power to immediately create a second. But it will shatter afterwards and be useless dwarvish metal thereafter. He looks to Lose and says, I'll be honest, your swords are fucking amazing. You probably don't need much of my help. Real talk.
I mean,
girl. How?
I do like them.
How even?
I mean, you know, one might be related to someone, but we're not going to talk about that. It's fine.
Fair.
She's meaning the one that might belong to the knave, but
He looks to Orlandis and says,
details.
Your ship. You are a privateer on behalf of Lavidia. Am I right in this statement?
This would be right.
When it arrives in dock, I will have members of the conglomerate meet you at the docks. I will perform some enhancements to your craft. I don't believe that a wooden vessel will be skyship worthy. However, I can make it pass through sand as easily as it does through water.
That would
That
be
would
nice.
be very helpful.
But I have concerns.
Field them.
We are to go to this world, whatever it may be, this god, to stop it.
It's not a god.
Um,
You are to not stop it. You are to put it into the tower.
The magical tower that transports people all around.
Yes.
Okay.
It goes in. Sanat will then send it away.
Using this, I pull the little the cube out of my back.
And it's fine that someone's in there. The tower.
Someone's in there?
Yeah. I mean, I think. I vaguely. Wasn't there someone. You know what? Maybe there wasn't.
There was, and will be someone there and not there.
Well,
Be like,
Schrodinger's tower. Life.
I don't remember.
It's
there
a
being
trend.
anyone in the tower.
It's a transgression on time. I am certain that there are all sorts of temporal maladies present inside of its engine, if that's what you're referring to.
Maybe.
Undoubted-
It's kind of vague for me, to be honest. But you know, I was just.
Undoubtedly,
Worry.
your confusion has to do with the nature of time in such spaces, but you seem to be clear-headed on the matter, Stasia. I will not ask you to divulge any matters from within this piece of artifice. I am certain that they are divine secrets, and those are yours to keep. Our deal has been cast. I wish nothing more of you, and if you wish nothing more of me, I believe our business is concluded.
Astia will look around at each of the party members too, and heave out a long sigh, and then just stand up.
Sarth will kind of walk past.
You ready to go?
Walk past Dekellis as if he were walking towards an exit, but he's really just kind of trying to he's trying to puff his chest and try and appear intimidating.
Good boy.
You actually notice that Dekellis notices and doesn't smile, doesn't try to appear arrogant or anything. It almost seems like there's a faux meekness that appears on Dekellis, which causes Sarth to kind of nod his head and kind of feel confident. Dekellis says, "Well, the descent is a little bit easier on the senses," he says as he kind of swipes his hand, and the chairs all just kind of become sparkling dust. And as that happens, you are standing at the base of the tower. Directly above you, you can see the table. Dekellis upside down standing at it, and then walking away from it towards the door, or towards the window where his chair was.
Did we confirm that we're not gonna have Bounty?
We didn't.
I literally wanted to say that before the chairs disappeared.
You could yell up to him.
About that bounty.
I think and all of us have larger concerns.
Like,
Hey,
and ever since this whole time, since we talked about the lodestar, I've literally just been holding it in my hand, just looking at the crack in it, just the whole
I have
time.
felt nothing but absolutely useless. So at the very least, I can handle one thing, and that's, hey, will you get rid of the bounty?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Right. After a fashion, because everybody was talking, I didn't get a chance to reply in character. He says, "Oh, right. Yes, I issued it. It's not a matter. I will rescind it immediately."
Thanks.
You could just ask us next time.
Again, I did not know you.
Looks up at him
It was before
Okay.
you returned.
Yes, and I'm like, really?
turns around,
Get the fuck
whips
out of
my cape
tower.
around, and walks out of the tower.
So if you look at the
Walking.
if
First you lied to me, and
if-
then
if
you
Ravik-
discounted me.
if Ravik looks at the bounty, Ravik would be able to kind of piece together the timeline, right? So you're pretty sure that the bounty on Castia was formed after the Pirate Lord was killed.
Mm.
That apparently was a big enough event that Penford was notified of it and who did it. And apparently Castia was among the roster of members of the crew of the Drake. So you understand that was a while ago. that was 6 days ago. Like that was
I mean, he still could have like
so
sent a little like message.
again. You
Ascending.
do you make a phone call to a person you don't know? That's not how that works. You can't even
I
cast
get
that.
him all the time. I don't know about you.
I mean, he's
I've
definitely
lived a long
the
life and I'm immortal up there.
conglomerate.
Bounty, apparently. He's like,
Yeah.
dead or alive, I don't know.
Also, remember, he was also conversing with his brother at the same time. So there was obviously an effort to deter, deflect attention. Expectations were required.
His brother is Nayland,
Fair.
right?
Nayland
Not
Balcard.
Around.
Yeah,
Okay.
but DeKallis' last name is not
Cute little
Balcard.
kitty.
Okay.
They're not related by blood. That's a very important historical piece of information there, but not thing that your characters would know.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They were made by
Do
the
we
same
know that a cute little kitty's named after him?
guy. The kitty is named after him, and he is a sleepy boy. And
Oh, you don't have to wake him up.
too bad, too late.
Oh,
He does not have a tail, so he's
Yeah.
very confused about
he doesn't
what's
need
happening.
one because
Same.
he's too cool for a tail.
But yeah, he's gray, and Nayland wears gray.
Because he's of the Grey Order.
Yeah, it was called the Gray Order because he wears gray,
That's very original. I like it.
and also neutrality. But anyway,
Right.
You're down at the base of the tower. Snot will lead
Yep.
you out. Whatever you would like to do beyond that.
Just
I'm
grumping a
I'm-
little.
I'm suddenly very, very tired. I would like
Oh, me
To
playing
go
the
back
happy
to the
port
end.
music.
Why don't we go find a place to rest? The ship will be here in the morning, so we can find a nice inn to sleep at.
No objections here. Preferably one that sells something to drink.
before we go. The question I asked Thanat is fair for all of you. It sounds like I have larger concerns than the bounty, and from forces that are terrifying. I appreciate all of the help, care, and protection, but I wouldn't blame any of you for running even before the comet shows up.
I told you I would be by your side, and I meant it.
Why would I run? Not scared of anyone.
And I look at you, and I smile, and I'm like holding the lodestar, like a tear comes down my cheek, and I'm like, not letting this happen again. I was like,
This didn't have to happen. This was stupid.
this. I'm like,
Why did we let Ezekiel do anything?
Because he
Damn our
didn't get he didn't take the sword. That's why.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't get the curse sword. I'm ending it. It's over,
Yeah.
you guys.
I'll get it in the next life. There is no next life.
Bobby. that was Bodhi at the last moment. Buddy.
I just felt like everyone should have a choice.
I mean, that's really nice of you, but I think
Yes.
most of us have made our choice.
Yep. So let's go find a place to rest.
To a nice.
Arm around your shoulder.
Like, I wish I could make a suggestion, but seeing as I don't sleep.
I mean, I don't
have any
either.
good choices for you. I was like, usually I spend my time in a library or archives.
Oh, I know your type.
Gestures in wizard.
Yeah.
Are you casting something? Are you? You better not be fucking casting something.
Like
Well,
unconsciously casting prestidigitation every time I do this. Little sparkles.
little sparkles. That's all it is.
Rainbow. Magic.
So
Oh, that's
this
a great idea, though.
this is actually a really good and interesting point. I want to make sure is very clear. So characters are present, and obviously the gauntlet has been kind of tossed. There are two very potent and very powerfully important matters at hand here, and you don't have to do any of them. The only people who are technically at any kind of like onus here, like to do anything, are Sanat needs to put the worm back in a box,
Mm-hmm.
and Castia needs to just stop existing, please.
God dang.
I guess that would be the way. Sorry,
Not stop
sorry.
existing.
Apologies. That was the gray order talking through me. Cassia needs to continue existing.
Fucking rude.
I think it's I think it's really
I've
fun.
come to lacquer.
Like where like the Patreon games are usually like the gray order versus very evil thing, and this group is like our party member is the thing that they want to fight that they may want to fight.
Yeah. But she's just a girl!
But yeah, again, your
Our
character's
girl, too.
your-
Yeah, she's our girl.
your character's top-down perspective of what the Grey Order is probably a bit more fanciful than like
Yeah.
So my question to you then, like just focusing up on it, especially kind of paying attention to your own circumstances, understand why you are where you are. So Sarth, regardless of Blathild's statement, like, but we already know where Blathild's going on it. Sarth is here to protect Castia. He's taken to her almost as a sister, although possible suspicions of other things.
That almost makes it a little weird. You might want.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Okay, Star Wars.
I almost made the worst joke ever.
You?
You? No way.
Help me, step bro. I'm caught inside this human body and I'm actually a goddess.
I'm leaving.
That's the new anime for this season, huh?
Are Alonsoro and Cassia Holly?
Cancelled.
Alanusro and Cassie are not colleagues. No.
No, Polly.
Oh, Polly. So, no, great question. So, let's focus up. Cassia is not bound to Alanusro. There's no, like, she doesn't know him.
I mean,
Right.
you're
Oh.
calling her a partner.
They-
That's why.
Yeah.
Stasia and Alanusro are an item.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is Castia.
We gotta understand, there's a lot of dynamic that's being kind of put on exhibit here. There's a lot of things that are very hard to kind of understand when it comes to the level of cloak that has been put upon this spark.
I mean, Lose was gonna ask Castia if she was okay with him calling her Stasia, because that's not what she goes by.
It's not her name. Like, to us.
I mean, unless you want it to be your name.
So he only, out of character, he only started calling her that after she manifested the throne.
Right.
Hmm.
So
but
for
still.
those who are trained in religion, which I think is no one in this group, maybe Sanad.
Wait.
The person that manifested
Wait.
the throne is
Right.
also trained in religion.
The
but
only reason
that's-
you would think
Nope.
that would be the case is because of what was manifested. The throne that you sat upon is a seat for 2 people, and it's technically the same person, but not. The moon.
Maybe she wants to lay down.
So
Damn,
I know-
I guess we gotta draw
I-
this throne because I
Right,
imagined it
right.
was like a throne.
I am a sleepy bitch.
But you're saying it's more of like a therapy chair? Like, is it like
Oh well,
It's a
I
little
mean,
more-
like you know, like
it's more lavish,
not like
it's more
lay down, but like you know, like with like a large like 2-person seat, like a love seat
Yeah.
situation is what I'm thinking of.
I get you. I'm with you.
And
I-
like you know, maybe she
Okay.
just wants to like curl up into a ball and take a nap sometimes.
fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
don't. She didn't. It didn't specify what the cushion situation on that throne was.
Then the question would be asked, but Castia, you would understand the significance of why he was calling you that. It was the chair you manifested.
And I think there were things from the visions that flashed through with Cardiff that doesn't leave me with a lot of doubts.
Yeah.
I have what may be a dumb question,
Fire
but
away.
is there like a way, right? Since we refer to Castia and Stasia as 2 different people, is there a way to separate the 2? So the Great Comet, or not the Great Comet,
The red.
the Red Comet doesn't come at us if we do decide to go after the worm?
By golly, Jonah, that's a great question that we'll have to
What a smart boy.
we'll have to explore a bit further when we know a bit more about how this thing works at all. Because again, so
Yeah.
far as you can see, Castia is a normal-ish human-ish
Ish.
girl-ish, because woman also, and goddess to the further degree. I guess that's the
She's a
progression.
teenager.
Is that the
She's,
progression of?
she's getting
Is that the progression of like girlhood?
Women
It's like
in
general,
girl,
yeah.
woman,
woman goddess.
Goddess?
queen goddess.
Yeah.
Is it queen goddess? I don't. I'm just trying to figure it
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
There's princess in there
I'm
somewhere.
just trying to
Yeah.
uncancel myself for
The
this
after
step.
girl,
sister
like
joke
girl,
earlier.
princess,
Girl,
teenager.
teenager.
You've already been banned.
Woman.
It's
I'm
fine.
already
Fine.
banned from my own everything.
Yeah.
So we don't understand the nature of that dichotomy. What we do know is Cassia is able to channel divine power, the light winds, without
Yeah.
normal methods, without utilizing normal methods. She doesn't require a divine focus. So that's the only thing that is really strange about her. That Blathild was kind of like, oh, okay, weird. Like she can just do it.
That's the only thing? Alright, cool.
Yeah,
It's a little thing.
Fine.
yeah. I mean, mainly.
Magic.
Oh my god, baby cat.
He just wants to be seen.
Well, I guess I have a marshmallow that is sitting on the space bar.
I had to move my keyboard too because Diesel was trying to like touch the keys. He's like, "With that."
It's an anagram. It always has been. Anyway,
Well,
John
thank
gave
you
it
for
away
that.
in the very first session in like 10 minutes by calling her Stasia.
yeah, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at lying.
It's
If I
fine.
knew who Stasia was at that time, I would have been like, "Oh shit!"
Well,
no,
again,
This is the stuff you learn by watching almost every single stream.
Nastasia was a very notable individual at the end of the
The
100
Patreon
Hands Make Light Work, which again we've tried this before. We've been trying this a lot. In fact, I tried before Tom even came back into my life. So,
To life.
well, no,
That
to
dance
my life,
eternal, dog.
into my life.
Yeah,
Because there was a
I
while
know,
where
I
it
know.
was super busy, Tom doing cool stuff. But the focus here, I just want to make sure we're clear. Orlandis, are you on board?
Yeah.
Okay, because for you, let's look at the purpose, right? Stopping the worm, according to someone who you know is in a position of authority when it comes to the war of Lavinia versus the Denisovans, says that worm could be a real big problem, and stopping it is like a real good thing for the conflict.
Yeah.
That's Orlandis'
don't-
measure.
We don't want the Denisovans to win.
We do not want them to have a worm. We do not want them to
Oh, letter kitty.
have a worm. Okay. So,
Kitty, it's a black kitty.
for Lose, you had that
Mhm.
question regarding whether, Castia was okay with being called not her name, and then she would explain, it's kind of weird, right? But it's also
It
not
doesn't-
wrong.
Yeah, it feels weird, but doesn't feel wrong.
But do you want us to call you Castia still, or this other name?
Castia feels right for you.
Alright.
And then for Lose specifically, this worm at least. Stop stepping on the keyboard, you dum-dum.
Every time I see your name is typing in the Discord, I'm just gonna assume
It's a cat jumping on
Shimby
the
or somebody
keyboard.
at this point.
He wants
Yeah.
attention. He knows there's only 10 to 13
Please
minutes
change
left
your
of the game.
Discord name to
Cat jumping on
Soupy
keyboard,
Baby.
actually.
Soupy
cat.
baby.
It's
Yeah.
actually not me. It's Soupy Baby the whole time. But
Yeah.
For Lose, there's obviously a connection between this thing that's been unearthed into the world.
Right.
Due to, folly. But it was originally put into that position to be relinquished, or, put out into there, by
Yeah.
elves. Elves who had something to do with Einkarad's fall. Elves who had something to do with the Six and their origination. Elves who are obviously elves that you would like to know more about so you can understand why they did the vile shit they did, apparently. So there's that. That is definitely a good kind of aspect towards it. But for you, though, is there anything, in your mind that pushes you towards Castia, anything at all? Or Sanat, in either of their goals?
Well, getting rid of the Lady of the Deep sounds like a good thing overall. And as far as Sanat, helping Sanat goes. And the part about finding out more about where did I write his name, or did I erase it? I did erase it. The Scion
Yeah.
guy.
Scion, predecessor or progenitor.
Oh, okay.
Not
I
like a
definitely
mental-
wrote PSY.
Yeah, I know. You're talking about a Scion and a Scion. So, yeah, there was a lot of confusion there. I'm sorry I didn't specify when I mentioned it.
Oh, it's fine.
That's my fault.
But his connection on Einkrad and that is apparently semi-connected with the Grey Order, which is somewhat connected to Castia, apparently. And that really cool fucking throne.
Pete.
Look at his little paws.
So there's definitely
I'm sorry.
there's definitely a lot of interest into the matter regarding Lose.
Right.
Also, you're a former agitator, so the
Mhm.
fight against Denisov control, great. It being an elvish unholy thing, a lot
Yep.
of position there. Last but certainly not least, Bravik, you currently have a lot of your own problems, but they haven't manifested on you quite yet. But you are aware that they're there. This is obviously an interesting diversion from those problems, fighting and doing good. But I want to make sure we know for certain, because I don't want to force hands here. The narrative is the most important part. For Bravik, what would be your anchor here? What would be your staying factor?
That's part of his personality. He's just loyal.
Yeah. And they helped you with the Lycoi matter. Yes, it is the Lycoi matter that currently has you in that hot pot right now of you being kind of targeted. But again, you wanted it done, and they helped you, and they also helped you with other contracts. So they've served as a boon for you in your career and your progress here. They've saved you in conflicts. They've helped you. Castia probably a couple of times at least, if not more. So yeah, that loyalty. Did you throw up a number? You know exactly how many. I love that. That's wonderful. Someone's been
Oh,
keeping
8 HP. Here's a heal. Okay.
keeping tabs. We love that. So yeah, perfect. So Vravic's loyalty to Castia and seeing this through to the end for Vravic is important. It also is a good measure for him to kind of, in a sense, lay low. But at the same time, too, if this hand of God does come to you, it does become a problem for you. You've seen these individuals, with the exception of Snot, really. Well, Snot kind of, in the tower. But you've seen these individuals fight. You know Lose is a competent duelist, and you know that the Kengo has a lot of those of their own. But she can definitely probably rival those if it comes to that. Plathil can split most folk in half. Orlandis can out-strategize most. So not explosive fireballs. That was... That.
You know, they're helpful.
And
The
also...
wizard or sorcerer Swiss
Lightning.
Army knife.
And lightning. Well, yeah.
That's the element of choice.
And then Castia can keep you alive if any of those other tactics fail. So we have a good positionality for everybody in the process. So what I'm going to state here is the things that I said we're going to resolve, the processes that we were going to move into, will resolve. The ship will gain the ability to move through sand. What that will allow for you to do is, if you look at the western coast, here, the worm is presumed to be somewhere in and around this region. You'll basically be able to load yourself up onto the shore by beach and just move yourself into the deserts surrounding Panacea, the Anundian wastes.
Yeah.
That's nothing but sand.
Huh?
That's nothing but sand.
That's nothing but sand, and the parts that aren't sand or water, which you can do also.
Yeah.
So once that'll be added to the Drake, and the Drake will be able to move across that kind of land. It will not be able to move across stone. So that's very
Is this
important.
sand or stone?
Stone. So like if you end up like in a mountain area, or like a mountain is in front of you, you have to turn around. Like you can't.
Yeah, you gotta find a chest with another upgrade
Yeah.
before you can.
Like,
Right.
don't go.
Bail
we
them out.
we don't go here.
And don't go north.
Is this sand?
Yeah. So it's
We gotta
hilly,
jump the
but it's still
mountain.
sand.
Okay, so these are like
Real fast.
dunes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we push enough sand up to it,
Right. You go
How much
up it.
sand do we need?
All of the
Mold
sand.
earth.
So right now,
Deeper
our
goal.
goal right now is to make our ship an all-terrain vehicle.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Sanat, you do not have to be in the tower to move the tower. You can be in the tower and move the tower, but you could go afield via ship or skyship, which again, you have Nyx's skyship. So there are methods for you to maneuver around the sands from a higher vantage point as well to scout out the location of the creature. Okay? What I want to make sure we ultimately understand is that anything that you say in the chat as preparatory work for next session will be taken as canon. The presumption for next session is the encounter with the Lady of the Deep will be happening right from the jump, and we will be moving into that right off the bat. If there are any confusions, we will stop at the beginning and we'll work through them so we all understand where we're at in the process. But I want to make sure that we understand that you are the ones engaging it. You can tackle it from any angle that you wish. It is somewhere out there in one of those hexes. Okay? It's fucking massive. So if
goddamn random encounters.
as long as you are in that hex and are able to see from above, you will know where it is. And once you have it, you will then have to engage it and get it into the tower somehow. That's it. That's the mission. Okay? And that's it.
I want to clamp the walker to the side of the airship. Aiming down.
Yeah,
it
It's
ain't
a
that
sand
good.
ship.
from the thing.
With the
Like,
claws.
here, little
Uh,
worm.
Yo, Cassia's just hanging from a rope.
Yeah, like a fishing pole. Just like in
Oh.
reverse. Instead of using
Oh
the
my
worm
God.
for fishing, we are fishing for the worm.
Oh, that's so adorable.
I said not to a string. There you go.
Just sad. Her hood's like, hanging just shadow. You can see the scowl on like the lower half of her face. This is embarrassing.
This is, yeah.
The
I am a
claw.
deity.
Anywho, well, that's it for this session. And next session, we will be engaging the Lady of the Deep in the sands of Anundia. Thanks for watching those that did, and we will see you next time. All right, session over. So, good session, very good stuff. So for this next session, like I said, however you wish to engage it, anything that you post in character chat as lead up, please try to do it as an in-character statement. Anything you post in general will not be taken for canon. It will be taken as like advisement. Once you are certain of a plan, like say the truth. What? Oh, I didn't stop streaming. I'm still going.